Hello, it's Allie, your education consultant again. Today is Two Tip Tuesday, and so my tips today are going to come for use with ClassFlow, Promethean's cloud-based lesson delivery system that allows you to work collaboratively with your students in the classroom face-to-face, in a remote learning situation, or in the hybrid situation. Through this program, your students, by logging in or working on your interactive display device in your classroom, like a Promethean panel, are able to interact in real time with the lessons that you create, polls, activities, quizzes, assessments, or through an instant whiteboard. So it's a powerful program and it will transform your interactive teaching and allow you to gain valuable engagement and formative assessment, especially for these times that we're in right now with hybrid and remote learning. Today's tips are going to come for those of you that are wanting to create lessons and use lessons that you create. You can see that I'm logged into my ClassFlow account. I'm going to click Create Lesson. The first thing, very first thing, and if you've ever taken one of my classes or been in one of my workshops, you've heard this, is to rename your lesson. And I'll show you why. When I click on my resources, you can see how many untitled lessons I have right here. These are many times that I have gone in to show a teacher or another education consultant something, and I do it real quick, and I create that lesson and I don't name it, so I can't remember what's in it. So the very first tip for today is when you click on Create Lesson, always rename your lesson. So I'm getting ready to start a lesson on ClassFlow Introduction for the teachers I work with. And so I am going to title this right away, ClassFlow Intro. And that way, since it is cloud-based, it will automatically save that when I close it. So even if I get logged out of ClassFlow or I walk away from my computer and ClassFlow stays up and logs me out, when I log back in, ClassFlow Intro will be saved. So that's your first tip for today. Always rename your lesson, activity, quiz, whatever it is you're doing, first thing, so that you don't end up with a bunch of untitled things like you see in my resource feed. My second tip for the day has to do with the size cards. Now, this is extremely important when you go to deliver a lesson, because the resolution of different screens causes some of our lessons and our cards to show up in ways that we don't particularly care for, or that doesn't give our students or ourselves the best learning experience. So I'll show you a little bit of the difference here in our card sizes. In order to change card sizes, I'm going to go to the hamburger in the green square next to my lesson title. And I'm going to scroll down and click on card size. From here, I also always want to make sure that my card size is either widescreen 16.9 or widescreen 16:10. Because if I do ultra widescreen, when I go to deliver things, two things are going to happen. One of them is when I go to, let me just add something here to my card. I'm going to add a few shapes so that you can see. I add those shapes through the shape browser, which is my little shape right up here. And I'm going to change the color of that circle so that it's just a different color. All right. So when I go to preview, everything looks fine. But when I go to deliver that to my open class, if I have writing on my screen, I can't get, you'll see, here's the edge of my card. I can't get my connection panel out of the way. It's always going to be in the way of something. Even if I collapse it, you can see I cannot move that out of the way. I'm going to go to my hamburgers. I'm going to click exit. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I set that card size, again through my hamburgers and card size, to widescreen. And on the computers that I have students and teachers working with, the 16:9 is the best ratio, but 16:9 or 16:10 would give you that widescreen ratio. Now watch what happens. So it does distort my shapes a little bit. And when I go to deliver that lesson and I have my connection panel here, notice I can get my connection panel out of the way because the white is the edge of my card. So why does the screen size make a difference? So here's an example of a lesson that I've downloaded that was saved in the ultra wide screen. I currently have it on widescreen. So you can see here, I'm delivering it right now, and you can see how things aren't lined up. But I can still move my connection panel out of the way if students can't see what I'm doing. Now here, I've changed it to ultra wide screen. So you can see my connection panel here. Even when I collapse it to make it smaller, I still can't get it out of the way of, if I put it way down here, I'd be able to get it out of the way. But if I click through and I have different activities, my students are not going to be able to see that full screen on the widescreen, the ultra widescreen view. So I want to make sure that my students are able to see the entire screen when I am presenting. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you are making sure that your card size is on the wide screen, either 16:9 or 16:10 ratio, so that when you go to deliver, that lesson looks amazing for your students. I hope those tips helped you today as you navigate through ClassFlow. ClassFlow will transform your interaction with your students and engage them in a new way each day you present those lessons to your students. I hope you enjoy ClassFlow, and don't forget to come back tomorrow for Promethean Pulse.